people passing us on the street, my best friend, my dog doesn't like her, all said don't marry her. But you know what? I did it anyway. By the way, did I mention she's a gold digger?
Do you take this beautiful woman to be your wife today?
I do.
And do you take him to be your husband?
Yes, I do.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
We've been married for 6 months, and it feels good.
Why are you saying like that?
How?
I hate being married to George.
And we're off to a good start.
I gotta say, 6 months is impressive. That's like 20 years in the time that they've spent together, 6 months. I hate being married to George. He's like, that's nice. That's nice. Honestly, that feels good. That's a lot nicer than how she usually treats me.
I am coming back.
She's scary. She's a lunatic. But at the same time, he's the one that chose to marry. He brought her from Russia. What he did is he basically took TNT, lit the wick, and duct taped it to his cock. So am I supposed to blame the TNT that's about to explode, or the guy who taped it to his cock and was like, this is a good idea? Yeah, she's insane. I know that. But she literally just said to his face while she's waiting for a green card, I hate being married to you. That's honest. That's fucking honest, dude. And he's just like, yup. Yep, everything's going good.
This neighborhood looks pretty nice.
Disgusting.
Bro, imagine driving around with that. Every time you try to be positive, hey, this neighborhood is not bad, is it? Disgusting. He's just like, this is going great.
Since we got married, Anfisa wanted a house. So today we're gonna meet up with the realtor because she's not happy in this little apartment. We need to get a bigger place.
This dude sounds like Kermit the Frog if he ate Miss Piggy. Fat jokes are coming back. Don't be so sensitive about it. I'm fat. Everybody gets fat, okay?
Fat jokes are coming back. I think fat jokes are funny, and I'm not gonna stop telling fat jokes. So if you sound like Kermit the Frog, do not eat Miss Piggy or you will be made fun of. Fat people are one of the funniest genres of human beings on this planet.
I'm really worried about where the realtor is taking us today because what Anfisa wants is way out of the price range. I told my realtor that my budget was anything under $5,000, but she told me that this house was a little more than that.
I can't wait to move somewhere else. I hate our tiny apartment. It looks poor.
I have to give props to this girl who's so entitled to live large, who doesn't seem to have worked a day in her life. It looks poor, but I mean, at the same time, she does have big fake titties. So, I mean, the world is really her oyster at that point. So she did accomplish that.
Is this the house?
Holy shit, it's a castle. Dude, of course you can't afford that. Why would you even step into that? Okay, your majesty. Oh, I don't know if I can afford this house. It looks like a fucking castle.
I guess the fat maybe have gone to his brain, dude. Maybe if you ate less Taco Bell, you could afford a nicer house, dude.
I don't know. The mic was like, eesh. Dude, enough with the fat jokes.
So driving up to the house, I was really blown away. It looks like a castle, but I could already tell it's out of my budget.
This guy's the best, isn't he? He's the greatest.
Hi, George. Hi, Anfisa.
Nice
Come
to
on
see you
in.
again.
Well, welcome to your mini chateau. This home is 5-bedroom, 5-bath, so it is quite large.
This is more of a life I expected when I moved here to the United States.
Here you have a barbecue as well as an English garden with its own fountain. It has a private gazebo area.
Bro, you do not have gazebo money. You know you don't have gazebo money. Go to Zillow right now. You can see, oh, there's a gazebo in the backyard. Sorry, baby, can't afford that.
It has its own fireplace and is nice and spacious.
It's probably just as big as the apartment that we're in.
Right, well, there you go. You're definitely upgrading a little bit then.
Yeah, you're definitely upgrading a little bit then. From an apartment to a castle to a chateau.
So already I can see that Anfisa's really liking this house. I promised her the life here in America, but I don't know if it's something I could afford.
Then why did you promise it, you tit-diving piece of crap? You're making her look like a bitch, which she is, but she's an honest bitch, and you're a dishonest bitch. So you just said it yourself, you promised her the life, and she moves here, and you're just a broke ass, dude. Sorry, man, you don't deserve those fat titties, dude. You have done nothing in your life to deserve those fat, fake ass freaking titties. Titties and all going all different directions and shit, man. I'm telling you, those things are bolted on.
The monthly payment on this home is $7,800.
He can definitely afford it. You could see in his face how he reacted. No problem, no sweat. I promised you the life, baby, and you're gonna get it. He's like, listen, just level with me, lady. I have $500 in my bank account. Can I afford this place, yes or no? Stop with all the fancy talk. Just level with me.
Can you afford this?
I mean, in order for me to rent a house in this budget range, I would need a little bit of extra time to get some money together.
How much time do you need?
I don't know, to be honest with you. It could be a month or 2 months from now.
I think what's happened, she's actually upset in a way that he can't afford it. She's upset that he lied to her in a way. Because she's like, can you afford this? Like, just tell me the truth. Can you afford this? You told me you're rich. I mean, the guy's lying out his teeth to her since the moment he met her. That's not a great way to start a relationship. And listen to him. Yeah, I can afford it. Just give me a couple months, baby. I've got $25. I don't think that gets us in the door today, but in a couple months, I'll have a couple of hundred, and then we could probably negotiate. And at the very least, we'll be able to sublease that gazebo, have that all to ourselves. So we definitely have at least that to look forward to. Sleeping bags, it's gonna be really magical. Just as I predicted, here's this video of him saying, not only am I not rich, but I'm in debt.
I'm not a millionaire, I'm just trying to be honest with you. In fact, in all honesty, I am in a little debt.
What?
It's kind of a perfect marriage. They got exactly what they wanted. She wanted a rich husband who gave her everything she wanted. She got Kermit the Frog, who ate Miss Piggy. And he wanted a bimbo wife that just loved him for who he was and had big fake tits. And that's all he cared about. And what did he get? Pretty much that, except that she hates his guts. In a weird way, it's kind of a beautiful, loving marriage. And after a couple years, I'm happy to say that it's all worked out.
I think you're too immature to know this.
So what?
Oh, wait, never mind. No, she left him. She definitely left him. Oh yeah, and every fairy tale has a happy ending. He also got arrested for weed.
The only thing I can confirm is that I was arrested.
The grass is always greener, guys. There's always an Instagram model with bigger, faker tits. There's always a guy with more chateau money. My advice to you is love the one you're with. Because when those tits deflate and all you're left is with some flabby pancakes with a little melted butter at the bottom, you're gonna have to love what's behind those flat tires. You know what I mean? Hope that does something for you. Welcome back, guys. Today we have a very juicy video on deck because me and Hilo always agree. We always go into a video agreeing and being like, this is cancer, let's talk about it. But this time, I hope you're ready to go to war. When I saw this video, I was like, yo, Hilo, look how stupid this is. We need to talk about it. And she looks at me and she goes, well, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude, we need to have some beef on camera right now. So we've been doing this video off for a minute because Hila was like, this is a real issue.
It is an issue, but the video is ridiculous, which is why we kind of agree.
We kind of agree. The issue is, by the way, man spreading. So man spreading, if you don't know, is when a man is on a bus or a subway or any public place, and apparently, according to these women on a BuzzFeed, yes, it's BuzzFeed, all men sit like this. By the way, what's the deal with how women take up every fucking seat with their bags? I've seen more women taking up fucking empty subway seats with their fucking purses than I've seen men spreading their legs.
I have never seen that.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I told you I'm going to war. Let's go to war together. Let's jump right into this BuzzFeed exclusive. 10 exciting ways to make men look like little bitches.
My balls. I don't want my balls sticking to my legs.
First of all, fuck off. It's not about balls sticking to leg. It's about literally smashing my balls and testicles. Like, I see dainty little girls sitting on the subway.
And that,
Like this. They sit like this, and God bless them, good for them. I have shit here. I can't. It's smushed my junk. I gotta sit like this.
I agree with that, okay?
Like, by the way, and look at the clip they're showing. That guy's sitting like pretty fucking reasonably, and bitch, there's plenty of space on that bench. I'm like 4 seconds in, and I'm already pissed off. I'm already straight triggered BuzzFeed. And you let it happen. You were right there with them.
I'm triggered too because I can't stand BuzzFeed.
Well, I see your point, because you're like, we can have a normal conversation about this
Yeah.
without making it sound like men need to be beheaded and their heads put on stakes.
Exactly. They make it so extreme.
That being said, you're right.
It's like when social justice warriors ruin feminism.
Right.
It's I care about feminism, but then there's this extreme one.
Right.
They completely ruin it for everyone.
Are you female explaining me right now?
Yeah.
I feel like, do you know when a female explains something that's very condescending? No, you're right. I completely agree with you.
Manspreading is when a man spreads his physical body to take up as much space as humanly possible.
Take up as much space as humanly possible. The clips show men seating, in my opinion, reasonably.
Yeah, I agree, which is why it's so
As
annoying.
much space as humanly possible. Implying that I'm sitting on the subway like, this is all me!
She's talking about it like they decided to do it on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see how much space I can take.
Let's see how many women I can piss off today on the subway ride. That's what I'm thinking about.
The people around you are relegated to a very small portion.
That one's pretty bad. That one's pretty bad.
That happens though.
Yes, it
That's
happens.
my point.
Okay, that's fine.
I want.
This guy's a douchebag. They've showed like 5 guys, and only one of them has been kind of outrageous.
Yeah, I agree. I think most men are pretty good about this, and they're not that. This is ridiculous.
But the key to manspreading is not noticing.
We grow up on 2 different tracks. People who manspread just are socialized not to worry about it.
Okay, these guys are sitting like this because they're being really respectful. Look at this guy on the right. He's sitting away from the person next to him so he doesn't intrude on their space. This is a nice guy. And you're showing him like, oh, fuck this. Fuck you, Tan, with your edgy hipster hat.
Well,
She's just what? Woman-splaining me? Yeah, I know what Tan's doing.
I mean, it's BuzzFeed. You need to blame BuzzFeed.
No, I blame Tan. It's like, yeah, when the Nazis, okay, said I was just following orders, what does Tan say? You know what I mean? It's the same exact shit.
I have so many vivid memories as a child of my mum telling me to close my legs.
Close your legs. Maybe that was about something else, Tan. I have so many vivid memories of my mom telling me to close my legs. Tan, listen, this is about manspreading. I don't know what traumatic shit you've been through, but leave that out of it. Why do you always have your legs open, Tan? Close your legs.
As a child of my mum telling me to close my legs.
You're disgusting, Tan. Close your legs. The whole family
Close
can
my
see.
legs.
Close your legs, Tan. Tan, would you close your legs for Christ's sake?
Memories as a child of my mum telling me to close my legs. I kind of secretly hope to annoy some men. That's my first train trip as a manspreader. I just feel like a monster already. How can you do this every day without being conscious of it?
Okay. You are being an obnoxious person.
That is not manspreading. That is just like...
That's just being an obnoxious person.
I just manspread on the bus for maybe a 5-minute ride for the first time, and it wasn't even half full, and I was already getting glared at, so I think this is going to be a kind of long week.
Can you at least acknowledge that men's have fucking twigs and berries between their legs? Like, if I cut off my dick and balls, which is apparently what you want me to do, I could happily sit with my thighs closed.
It's day 2 of manspreading, and I forgot that I had to do this.
How about purse spreading? Let's make a BuzzFeed video about purse spreading. No, woman spreading with their huge fucking purses. Okay, I don't know what's with women, why they think they have to bring the whole kitchen and the kitchen sink with them in their purse. Okay, not my problem. Put it in your fucking lap next time, woman spreader. Dude, that's real. Y'all know that one's real.
Whenever a woman takes up space, she's considered bossy, she's considered aggressive. There are a lot of stereotypes surrounding black women and whether or not we're angry or we're dominant. And so maybe a lot of the reasons why I do minimalize my presence is because I don't want to be perceived or engage with those stereotypes.
But you gotta acknowledge that if you're wearing a dress, I understand that, like, yeah, there's women stereotypes and all that, but you're wearing a dress.
That's such a good point.
And you're opening up
your crotch. I mean,
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, and it like.
Not because you're a woman, because you're wearing a dress.
You just got slam dunked by one of your own.
What is it between their legs that's so important?
Dick and balls! It doesn't fit! You can't squish it, it's not comfortable! What?
That was really stupid.
Oh, God.
What is it between their legs that's so important that it requires 2 to 3 seats when there are kids, families, women, and elderly people standing up?
Okay, no one does that.
That it requires 2 to 3 seats.
Literally fucking Hulk Hogan could lay out toe to tip and not take 2 to 3, maybe he'll take 3 seats.
Women are expected to be quiet, small, and almost invisible. Whereas,
dude, this guy is doing his absolute best. How are you gonna talk shit on this guy?
I think maybe they're just frustrated because men just end up taking more space.
But they don't
So it's
acknowledge the
just-
biological need. They just frame it as all men are monsters and need to be castrated. We need to cut their dicks off so they could close their legs. Just like my mom used to talk to me about all the time.
many vivid memories as a child of my mum telling me to close my legs.
Tam, would you close your legs for Christ's sake?
Women are expected to be quiet, small, and almost invisible, whereas men can be these boisterous slobs, and it's all good. Today,
How can you show this in good conscience and be like, all men are fucking monsters? Here's a drunk homeless guy taking a nap on the bus. He's not even man-spreading. He's just fucking passed out.
Something's wrong there.
Yeah, there's...
It's not the man's fault.
The guy clearly, yeah, the problems go deeper than man-spreading in this point.
I've not enjoyed this week at all. The very first day where a group of people came on, they were going to a game and they were all desperate for a seat and I was taking up 3 seats.
That's not man-spreading! That's just you being a fucking asshole!
This is so stupid.
How is that man-spreading? Your legs are closed. You're just being a fucking dick. You're not even following your only rules of your experiment. And by the way, I have seen women, believe it or not, sitting like that on the bus or subway. It happens to both genders.
To be forced to manspread really showed me how up your own ass you have to be as a person, to not be conscious of those around you.
So today I'm doing a man-spreading experiment. I'm gonna behave like all men do, and this is how all men sit on the subway. Yo, what the fuck? Yo, get out of here!
Be forced to manspread really showed me how up your own ass you have to be as a person.
She's gonna win Employee of the Week.
Yeah, Tana's gonna win Employee of the Year at BuzzFeed probably. She's gonna be like, you triggered males so hard with that video that we are giving you this statue of a penis and balls because you've apparently never seen one before, and we just want to let you know what they look like.
You did such a great job missing the point. Exactly what we were looking for.
You may
Promoted.
I'm jealous of women because sometimes I see you in really tight-fitting pants, and you're sitting there and you're really cute, little like put together, and you don't take up a lot of space like they're complaining about. And I'm like, dude, I'm actually jealous of that because I want to.
I wouldn't want to.
Women, try to like, I know you have periods and give birth, which I have full respect for, and God bless you for that. But try to at least empathize that you have like this junk in between your legs all the time. And it's very sensitive stuff too. Like, you get punched in the balls the wrong way, you will puke. The pain is so severe. Like, I'm just saying, you guys have gone about this in such a bad way that frankly, all the respect I had for BuzzFeed is now gone. I went from 0 to 0.
The man that's taking up too much space on a bus, on the plane, on the bench, we see you. You don't need that much room. To the young women out there, I say you should definitely be aware of your surroundings. If there's something that you want, if there's something you want to say, if there's a position that you want to hold, take up that space. You deserve that space.
What a message of empowerment. How did that make you feel, dude?
Made me feel like next time on a train, I should lay over 3 feet.
I'm taking up a little space here.
Well, she said I need to be more confident.
Take up that space.
Why are you putting your legs in that? You have plenty of space in your chair. I don't understand.
You deserve that space.
Well, I deserve it.
Why? What do you mean?
I am a woman. Oh, BuzzFeed said that I deserve it and I should be empowered.
I have so many vivid memories as a child of my mom telling me to close my legs.
Well, if BuzzFeed says it's true, then I better fucking just... Here you go, dude. Make yourself at home. This is how everyone needs to sit on the subway from now on. So men, make sure to offer your shoulders and leg space to all women as reparation for the manspreading that's taken on by our time. Thank you so much to Loot Crate for sponsoring us and hooking it up with that meme juice. Loot Crate is a subscription service that sends you a box of goodies every month. Next month's theme is space and includes goodies from Mass Effect, Destiny, and XCOM. If you guys would like next month's Loot Crate, make sure to visit the link in the description, lootcrate.com/H3H3. Make sure to use the code H3H3 to get 10% off your space crate. Last month was Magic, and take a look at this cool ass Doctor Strange toy. And one of my all-time favorite movies, Big Trouble in Little China. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to Loot Crate for hooking up that meme juice and sponsoring our video. See you guys next time. You guys remember MTV? They used to make amazing stuff like Beavis and Butthead, Tom Green Show, Jackass. They used to be at the forefront of really cool, great, edgy culture. There's only a couple words I have for them these days, and that's, it's time to stop! MTV as a network went from this...
Kind of weird for you holding those condoms, considering we both know where they're gonna end up.
to this.
Learn what mansplaining is, and then stop doing it.
From this... to this.
Try to recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
It's time to stop, MTV. You used to be dope. You used to be the edgy uncle that we would turn on at night that our parents hated. People used to burn down their fucking houses because Beavis and Butthead used to go, fire, fire, fire. Fire, fire, fire. That's edgy and fucking cool. MTV News just put out a new video that makes Cam from BuzzFeed look like a fucking tolerant saint in comparison. The video is called Dear White People, and it's one of the most bigoted, racist, backwards videos I've ever seen. Me, as a white man, I am so offended, I am so deeply divided by the message of their video. There's only one way I can properly react to this video. In whiteface. MTV, it's time to stop.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Guys, leave a comment and let me know if you think whiteface is racist. This is a new territory for race relations. I'm not sure. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Is whiteface racist or not? Smash like, leave a comment, win a $100 gift card.
Hey fellow white guys. It's about to be a new year.
And there's a few things we think you could do a little bit better in 2017.
Just a jazzy, fresh, hip, cool song to notify you guys that you're watching a jazzy, hip, cool, youthful, cool-ass video from MTV News. It's fun and light-spirited, but it actually divides our deeply divided culture and pits races against each other. 2017 resolutions for white guys. How do you think the alternate version of these videos would go over? 2017 resolution for black guys. 2017 resolution for Mexicans. Stay tuned. Things are gonna get spicy, literally, because they like spicy food. It's okay. I can say whatever I want. I'm in whiteface. I'm waiting for the one entitled 2017 resolution for BuzzFeed and MTV employees. It's time to stop!
First off, try to recognize that America was never great for anyone who wasn't a white guy.
What the fuck are you talking about? You're making it sound like nobody who's not a white male never had a good life in America. Not one fucking person. And then on the other side, she makes it sound like every white male is sitting in an ivory tower with like slaves and butlers and like women just sucking their dick because they fucking own the world. I'll tell you why this pissed so many people off. Because 30% of this country, the biggest group are white Americans. And I'll tell you what, 90% of them are just normal ass fucking working class people. 95% struggling to get by, just like the people in this video, right? And they're seeing this shit being like, yo, where's my fucking privilege? Where's the privilege you guys are accusing me of having? It's like, yeah, fuck you, man. You you get defensive because it's like, why are you talking shit? I didn't do anything. Fuck you. And why the fuck did MTV become BuzzFeed? Who at MTV was like, you know what people love and we need to be more like BuzzFeed? Everybody loves BuzzFeed. What the fuck, dog? Also, I am available for children's parties and cameos and whiteface. I do public speaking, bar mitzvahs, weddings. Guys, I'm all over the place. I'm desperate for money. I know that I'm a white male, but underneath I'm very olive complexion. So please don't hate on me just based on, if I take off this white face, will you still love me?
Also, Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing.
Cops weren't born with blue skin, right? I mean, yeah, they weren't born blue.
I think what he's trying to say is that Blue Lives Matter is not equal to Black Lives Matter because you choose to be a cop and you can quit being a cop anytime you want. Unlike being black, you cannot quit being black. Is what he was trying to say, which is an interesting point, but because it's such a stupid, poorly made fucking video, all it ends up looking like is, hey, I'm a token fucking black guy that the white person who made this video threw in to make it look diverse. I do bar mitzvahs, by the way. If anybody's looking for entertainers for any public events, please call me. Do you think he decided to wear that shirt, or the stylist, the director of this video, made him put it on to appeal more to the youth of America?
Stop bragging about being woke. Stop saying woke.
Why are you guys so angry about being woke? Like, that seems like such a strange thing to, like, latch onto. I don't see white people walking around saying they're being woke. Why are you so upset about people being woke? Or maybe it's because you're not woke. Maybe because you sleep, bitch. How woke am I right now? What? This is the face of a woke-ass white man. Get on my level, bitch. Hip-hop dance. I just appropriated your culture, bitch. Get woke.
Learn what mansplaining is, and then stop doing it.
Did you just womansplain me to tell me to not mansplain? Did I just get... Dude, you need to woke your ass up, dog.
Oh, and if you're a judge, don't prioritize the well-being of an Ivy League athlete over the woman he assaulted.
It's a very specific message to all white people. But I'll make sure the memo gets around and everybody knows that.
We all love Beyonce. And yeah, she's black, so of course she cares about black issues. I'm talking to you, Fox News.
Feel free to take Kanye West, though. You guys can have him.
You know what you think.
So let me get this straight. In a video talking about how racist white people are, you've suggested excommunicating one of your own kind for meeting with the president-elect. That is the most backwards, most fucked up thing ever. All you guys, all you white people, you can keep Kanye because he met with the president and now we don't want him anymore. But fuck white people. Why am I talking about white people like a group? It's so bizarre. I've never done this before where it's like, oh, us white people. It's fucked up, but they did it. They like put me in this mind frame where it's like us and them. Like I've never thought about just like, oh, I'm a white person, us white people. Like, it's fucked up. They're fucking with my brain. It's not supposed to be like that.
Nobody who has black friends says that they have black friends.
I have black friends. I have a ton of black friends.
Just because you have black friends doesn't mean you're not racist. You can be racist with black friends.
Yo, what the fuck, dude? What am I gonna do with all my black friends now? That's the only reason I was hanging out with them. Man, I thought I was hanging out with my black friends the whole time because I actually liked them and had a fucking friendship with them. But it turns out I was just trying to prove that I'm not racist.
We know nobody's perfect.
But honestly, you could do a little better in 2017.
Some of you guys do a great job. Some of you don't.
Please, because 2016 is bad. 2017 can't be worse than this, all right? Because this is bad.
Yeah, man, 2016 was a shitty year, dude. It was hard. Let me recall all the really obnoxious things that happened in 2016.
Among Us what? Is that sexual harassment? Is that what you just did when you said that to me? Why would you say that to me?
But so obviously, like you as like a white male, you were like the least like.
That's my first training trip as a man spreader. I just feel like a monster already. How can you do this every day without being conscious of it?
This person just sexually harassed me. How dare you? How dare you? Disgusting! Disgusting!
You fucking selfish, dumbass idiot. You're gonna be on Gawker.
What is it between their legs that's so important that it requires 2 to 3 seats?
Still white. I'm still white. And if you think I'm being racist for defending white people, go back to my videos from a month ago when every alt-writer that was subscribed to us was shitting on me for being a fucking libtard for calling out Joey Salads for his racist black social experiments, okay? I'm just calling it like I see it. These guys are fucking racist, Joey Salads is fucking racist, and I'm in whiteface. Where does that leave me? I don't know. I do kids shows. Please fucking hire me. Thank you so much to Dollar Shave Club for sponsoring this video. Shave up, dog. Damn, that actually fucking works. Hella good. Use their blades with their shave butter for a dope-ass, close-ass clean. Get one of the best shaves I've ever had in my life. That's a new look for me. All new members that want to try this lovely razor can do so for $1. No risks, no shipping fees. Click the link in the description, dollarshaveclub.com/H3H3. You're going to be jamming and slamming just like the big boys. That is a clean shave, Commander Riker. Do you like my facial hair? She hates the haircut, but she loves the close shave. They also sell shampoo and body wash that'll leave you smelling delicious.
Oh my god, I love it! Oh my god!
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest, oh my god! And it's time for a review of the new Trippie Redd mixtape, A Love Letter to You 3. This is the latest mixtape from Ohio native Trippie Redd. We just heard from the rapper, singer, earlier this year with his full-length commercial debut album, Life's a Trip. It was a bit underwhelming, in my opinion. Not quite the ambitious show out that I was hoping for, though it was interesting to see Trippie vary up his sound a little bit and successfully embrace the current emo rap trend with lots of compelling songs with guitar-backed instrumentals. So now he is delivering the next installment of this Love Letter mixtape series, which is fine with me because his last mixtape in that series is what attracted me to his music in the first place. And even though my feelings on Trippie's projects up until this point have been somewhat mixed, I gotta say I'm pretty happy I mostly enjoyed this one. Yeah, I did. I mostly enjoyed it. Mostly thought it was pretty enjoyable. There are some real highlights, positives, and improvements for Trippie Redd on this project. Out of the current set of auto-crooners and trap balladeers out there, I still think Trippie is one of the most standout. He projects a lot of passion and personality through his voice, and he typically forgoes the heavy use of auto-tune that many of his contemporaries are addicted to, resulting in a pretty raw sound that you often don't get out of this style of trap. Now, in the past for Trippie, this has led to songs where his voice is just really going off the rails, he is straining, but on Love Letter 3 I do think Trippie tries to cut down on a lot of the vocal blemishes that were all over his previous projects. Off the bat, I can say the tracks that didn't really appeal to me all that much were the closer, Campfire Tale, mostly because it is that rare moment on the album where Trippie's voice is just so over-labored, it gets to the point where it's obnoxious and difficult to listen to. And then there's Diamond Mines featuring Tory Lanez and Elliot Trent, which, in my opinion, just sounded like a very generic trap R&B blend with very slick, boyish R&B vocals, not a whole lot of personality or flavor to it. It just sounds really pillowy, buttery, and bland. Outside of that, I think the tracks on this thing range from being either decent to pretty great. Whether that be Topanga, the lead track to this thing. I was captivated instantly by the gospel-inspired instrumental on this thing, also the pitch-shifted vocal samples on this thing. Also the sick lead vocal melodies from Trippy on this one. I take a little elastic Topanga. The messaging in the lyrics, while it didn't really resonate with me all that much at first, after repeated listens, it strikes me as this really weird combination of romance and violent paranoia that, again, I'm not exactly sure if the message comes through all that clear. It is pretty odd to feel these combating feelings on one song. The song Toxic Waste is an oddly sad and vulnerable moment for Trippy, with its sad little acoustic guitar samples and its gentle but busy beat, but what truly sells this song in my opinion is the vocal performance, with Trippy asking this person who he has in mind to help him even though he knows that that person entering back into his life is not healthy. It's basically portraying this addiction that he has to a very toxic and negative relationship, I guess. Meanwhile, on the song Can't Love, Trippy sounds even more heartbroken, literally crying out over a very simple beat in this sad electric guitar lick saying, "She said she loves me. How does she love me now? How could you do this to me?" If you're looking for an impassioned, heart-wrenching trap ballad, this is it. And this is just one of many moments on this record where it feels like Trippy is just deeply obsessing over getting the raw emotional deal out of these failed relationships, which again fits as a weird combination against other tracks or even lyrics within these songs where he's just singing about letting choppas bang. In a way, this record successfully inhabits this new wave of trap where you have these tough guys that just wear their hearts on their sleeve, I guess. The lines between those two worlds continue to blur on the title track of this thing too, where Trippy delivers this melodic, righteous, angry diatribe about being tested. And I think a lot of this track's emotion and ethos can get boiled down into a single line that he repeats a few times. I put my soul into these cups, I don't worry about anything. To me, this line and many others just totally embodies the addiction, the anger, and the heartbreak that he dives into on one track after another on this record. Also thought the track Loyalty Before Royalty was pretty great as well, one of the slightly better topical tracks on this thing where Trippy is going on about brotherhood in the midst of this life of sin that he's surrounded by. My major issue with this record and Trippy's sound and style at this very point in time, though, is that the songwriting and the instrumentals can be a little one-dimensional, because there are tracks on this thing where the beat just does not change up all that much across the length of the song. Not a whole lot of melody or chord changes, not a lot of percussive shifts or beat dropouts, which might seem like a simple request, might seem like something very basic, but it does make a world of difference in terms of encapsulating certain parts of the song or highlighting certain parts of a song. I mean, sometimes Trippy's vocal melody, his flow doesn't even change up all that much from a verse to a chorus on a track. And it just leads to a handful of songs on this thing just sounding very samey from front to back. Whether it be Wicked or Negative Energy or Firestarter, just to name a few. And listen, this is even the case for some tracks on this thing that I like, but sometimes what ends up happening is that Trippy's vocal performance on a track is so good that I just can't deny it. There are also a handful of cuts on this thing where a guest rapper or singer is just enough to kind of break up the monotony of a song, whether that be Baby Goth on the title track of this thing or Juice WRLD on 1400. The chemistry between him and Trippie Redd on this cut is actually excellent. Both of them kind of drive each other to keep the energy high. And honestly, Elevate and Motivate has one of the slickest and most enjoyable guest verses I've ever heard from Young Boy Never Broke Again. So while I do like the bulk of the tracks on this record, I like the direction of this album. This, in my opinion, is one of Trippie's most consistent projects yet. I do still think there's room for improvement. And what I would love to hear more going forward are more focused and varied songs. I really feel like that's the next way for Trippie to bring things to the next level. Because so far on this thing, he has captured a really great sound. He's got a distinct voice on this record, a sixth sense for catchy flows and melodies. I just think the substance and structure of what he's doing could be a bit better. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7. On this thing. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you liked. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that upworthy link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Trippie Redd, a love letter to you three. Forever. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new XXXTentacion album, Skins. This is the new posthumous album from rapper, singer, and songwriter XXXTentacion, who was tragically murdered this past summer in broad daylight. He just released a pretty successful sophomore record in March, and he was still awaiting trial for domestic abuse charges that have since been dropped due to his death. However, X's passing did not stop the promotion or the release of his music, as Bad Vibes Forever, in connection with Empire Records, still plan to put out more X music sooner rather than later. And at this point, who knows, maybe what's on this new album over here is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what X's label is willing to release of his leftovers. What's for sure is that as long as X's music is in the spotlight and it's continuing to be released and promoted, his public image is going to be in the spotlight too. As this past October, Pitchfork Media dropped a previously unreleased audio recording of what sounded like X admitting to the abuse he was charged with. That being said, I don't really feel like this is a review where I'm going to be talking about the music on this album all that much, mostly because there is so little here. There are 10 tracks on this new record. They amount to 20 minutes or so. The first track is an intro. For the most part, the tracks on this thing just feel very roughly pieced together to somewhat resemble maybe an image of possibly an album. Tracks like Woe, Mind and Awe, as well as I Don't Let Go, just feature X faintly vocalizing and kind of rapping very softly over a pretty skeletal instrumental. It very much sounds like just a sketchy idea for a song, and that's it. X's label didn't even properly mix these tracks before they came out. The Difference interlude is another completely unnecessary and tedious moment on this record. The thought that an album like this could have an interlude when it sounds nearly as demo quality and just as brief as everything else on here. Somehow this thing sounds less finished than many of the roughly recorded emo folk cuts off of X's 17, and even some of that turns up on this thing, most notably on the closer. The fact that Empire would drop this album in the state that it is just goes to show how desperate they are to get more streams off of X's name, and that's it. Because they're literally just reassembling the cutting room floor and painting it as an album. One more thing that makes me feel that way is that this album doesn't even feel like the artistic direction X was forecasting to on his last album, as his last record featured more tracks, more variety, some longer songs, cuts that just were straight rock instrumentals. And there is a little bit of that here, but again, it feels like it's just in a diminished capacity because much of what's on Skins just doesn't feel finished. From the lead single Bad, which pretty much reads like the other two near demo cuts on here, but maybe the vocals are a little bit better recorded, it's still barely structured enough to be a song. X, for the most part, his lead vocals just kind of sound like a very faint, nasally idea of a hook, not really something he's kind of saying all that boldly, because I don't know if he was going to end up changing it down the road or something. The song 1 Minute with Kanye West, it's titled 1 Minute, but ironically it's the only track on here that breaches 3 minutes. I don't know what to say about this song. I guess I just hope that all parties involved, or at least chose to be involved, are proud of what they did here. I guess in a way I kind of admire it for trying to bring rap rock back, but one, the track features this awful lead guitar riff. I don't know what this sound is. Is it a horrible sample? Is it something coming out of a keyboard? I'm not sure. Or is it coming out of a DAW? I don't know. It just feels like the worst imitation of a guitar riff, and it's just so static and repeats so plainly across the length of almost the entire instrumental. It's kind of annoying in the first few seconds of the song, and my God, in the last minute, it's like torture. X only comes in on the tail end of the song because there's not enough of him to actually make this an entire track. That's why Kanye has to fill out most of it. But before I go on to Ye's verse, I will say there's a ridiculous part on this track just before the last chorus and bridge where X lets out this really long, brutal scream. But the thing is, some studio wizard took a chunk of his scream and looped it over and over and over so that his scream would stretch out 8 full bars, because it literally sounds like he's going Meanwhile, with Kanye's verse, he just reads as so. Hi everyone, Bethany Cool Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Tyler, the Creator EP. Music inspired by Illumination and Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. This is a new EP from West Coast rapper Tyler, the Creator, former Odd, Future, Main Brain. He is fresh off releasing one of the most critically acclaimed rap records of the decade, Flower Boy. Tyler has also been producing music for the upcoming Grinch movie soundtrack as well, but I guess the inspiration he had for this new movie did not end with his work directly with the film, as he's now gone on to release his own Christmas and Grinch-inspired music with this new EP here. This thing is a pretty short collection of tracks. It's 6 songs, 10 minutes, and honestly, the music Tyler produced for the Grinch movie soundtrack, what I've heard of it, I didn't really care for, and I can't say the music that has landed on this new EP is any more fulfilling. In fact, the tracks on this thing I think might be even more awkward and weakly assembled. I mean, this project mostly starts off promising with the song Whoville, whose title is obviously a Seuss reference, but the sound of the instrumental sounds more like stiff hip-hop drums mixed with some Peanuts Christmas special pianos. Suddenly, this intro cut transitions quickly into the next full song on the album, Lights On, featuring Santi Gold, as well as Brockhampton affiliate Ryan Beatty, and the song essentially sounds like the worst karaoke at a holiday party that you want to leave as soon as possible. I'm not sure what I dislike about this song the most. Is it the rickety beat? Is it the cheap and icy 80s synthesizers that sound like a knockoff of something out of Wham's Last Christmas? Or is it the vocals, all of which seem like they're coming from a totally different place in terms of style and recording and mix? Santigold's soulless talk singing throughout the first leg of this cut sounds like something out of a really bad high school play. Then there's Tyler's really little nasally raps that he places throughout a few points in the song. Meanwhile, Ryan has one of the best and clearest vocals on the entire track. He kind of sounds like a young Justin Timberlake. But what exactly is the story and the theme that these 3 individuals are playing on this track? I mean, are they connected together somehow, or are they all just kind of musing about wanting to come home, or wanting someone to come home, or missing home? I don't know what it is, but somebody feels like they're playing third wheel here. Somebody's the third wheel. Following this is the track Hot Chocolate, which I never could have imagined that a song could ruin one of the best beverages ever conceived. But here we are. The song starts off cute enough with these jazz loops kind of locked into a groove for the intro. Little glockenspiel melodies plinking away in the mix too. Not the first time we're going to hear that on this record, believe me. Then comes Tyler awkwardly rapping and singing about marshmallows and 2% milk and frickin' cinnamon. But then it gets worse from there with a feature from this Jerry Paper fellow, whose singing for the rest of this track is awkward, moany, sounds vaguely off-pitch. It's like I'm listening to a tone-deaf Stephen Merritt of the Magnetic Fields. The song Big Bag is a quick rap motif where Tyler in a few short verses kind of tributes the Grinch stealing gifts from the Who's in Whoville, talking about his green skin, breaking his bag, and breaking into the house. Sounds like something that could have been on the Grinch soundtrack, but maybe he was kind of just throwing together a demo here, and it would have been something that could have been further developed had it actually landed on the soundtrack. But since it didn't, he's just kind of releasing it as an odd or an end on this EP. I mean, it's fine while it's on. It's not one of the worst tracks on this thing, but it's so brief and underdeveloped, I couldn't really call it a highlight. The following, When Gloves Come Off, is yet another awkward meld of second-year high school jazz band jazz mixed with a bit of stiff hip-hop percussion, and then a dash of Christmas music mixed in there too. The groove vaguely resembles that of Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On, like it seems a little more than some horn hits. Oh, and a way less sloppy instrumental performance too. This is another moment on the EP where Ryan Beatty's vocals appear, but his singing isn't nearly as impressive as it was on Lights On. And I feel like that may partially be because this song feels even more demo-ish than the previous couple of tracks. Like Ryan and Tyler just kind of throwing some raw vocal ideas out there on top of the instrumental to see what sticks and maybe listen back to it. I mean, their vocals certainly don't come together all that well, and the track doesn't really sound finished. If Tyler were going to throw together a bunch of like random demo-ish Christmas tracks, I wish that he he would have just kind of come clean about exactly what this EP is. The closing instrumental, Cindy Lou's Wish. I really don't know what to say about it. Maybe Cindy Lou's wish was that the EP should be over, because somehow it's even more unlistenable and awkward than the intro track was. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this EP, honestly. I mean, I would say that for Tyler, this is him backsliding, or that this is him faltering, or kind of him losing his way, but I feel like in order to make that assessment, I would have to get the sense that he actually worked on this EP and put as much effort into this as he would a track on Flower Boy. And it's incredibly obvious that he did, as it mostly just feels like he's slapping some tracks together in order to quickly cash in on the holiday spirit. I'm feeling a strong 3 to a light 4 on this thing. Tran?
Why are you so mean? Everything you say is mean. You're like the Grinch, but for music. You're the Grinch of music. Nobody likes you. Tran?
Zishin, have you given this EP a listen? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Hit subscribe, please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that accordion link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fan Tyler, the creator, forever. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music man. And it's time for a review of the new Earl Sweatshirt album, Some Rap Songs. This is the third full-length album from poet, songwriter, and abstract hip-hop word ninja, Earl Sweatshirt. It's been a few years since we last heard from Earl in a studio album capacity. His 2015 record, I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside, was his last. That year was also the same when the hip-hop collective that helped pave his way to fame, Odd Future, had pretty much become defunct as a cohesive unit. Though Earl's absence from the group during their peak of hype kind of became a rallying cry across every corner of the internet. On music boards, on social media, every music publication under the sun, as well as even traditional outlets like the New York Times.
Free him! Free my boy Earl! Free him now!
He's literally been free for like the past 5 years.
We did it. We did it, everybody. We did it. Good job.
While Earl is a member of Odd Future and certainly a big reason as to why the group blew up, there's always been something about him that's made him stand out amongst every other member in the group, whether that be his literal geographic location or his lyrical talent and attention to detail. Also an uncompromising, emotionally dark streak in his music that not only made him stick out like a sore thumb in Odd Future, but really in the current hip-hop meta in general. And Earl's anxieties, as well as his depression, have not been exactly a secret up until this point. They were on display in a big way on his last record, and on top of it, earlier this year, Earl canceled an entire European tour citing anxiety and depression as the reason why. Considering that, I guess months ago, whatever Earl's next album is going to be will most likely be his darkest and maybe most despondent yet. And the teaser tracks to this record, like the Mint and Nowhere to Go, certainly forecasted toward that, especially considering the song's gloomy lyrics, minimal structures, and hypnotic experimental production, going even further down a dismal rabbit hole than I Don't Like Shit did. And as angry and as negative as that album was, occasionally the production did feel a little rickety, and Earl vocally still sounded relatively fresh and youthful, kind of empowered by his anger. And now, just a little while down the road, a few years later, we're being subject to some pretty significant changes. The beats, while they might be slightly more repetitive than they were on Earl's last record, their sound palette is experimental, it's lo-fi, it's fuzzy, it's rich, it is dense, it is surreal, simple but powerful. Meanwhile, Earl's emotional instability sounds like it's aged him 2 or 3 decades. In a way, it's kind of a shocking night and day difference comparing his voice and his demeanor and his delivery on this record to his last, or even Doris. And now that most of the songs on this album are pretty brief and this thing stands at 15 tracks and 24 minutes or so, the whole thing feels like a tapestry of sad, abstract, dreamy rap vignettes, which range from hopeful to hopeless, lost, emotionally isolated, also addicted, or just diving into substance abuse. And there's some tracks on this record where Earl very clearly focuses on a single notion or emotional theme, whether that be Nowhere to Go or the isolation of Eclipse, the song The Bends, which mostly focuses on Earl's friends, or the track On the Way, whose lyrical and instrumental tone feels like we're experiencing the upside of a mood swing. It's one of the few slices of bliss the album offers. This, and I would maybe say the clunky but amazing instrumental closer, which feels like a bit of sad triumph. There is also the song Red Water, which mostly seems to focus on the rocky relationship and emotional ties that Earl has to his late father, who passed away earlier this year. And it's been no secret that Earl's parents splitting up when he was so young had a huge emotional impact on him and his music, something he essentially dives into in the song Playing Possum, which is a beautiful and psychedelic, blissful sound collage of sorts, bringing together pieces of spoken word from his mother and his father, one of which sounds like an acceptance speech of sorts, with Earl's mom thanking not only her partner, him, various members of their family for supporting her through all of the hard work and sacrifices she needed to make in order to be put in this position where she's giving this speech. Meanwhile, this is matched with bits of Earl's dad, who was a poet, basically reciting lines about refugees, borders, homeless children. It's pretty emotionally powerful, even without a guaranteed 1% on the bullseye interpretation of the track anyway. So again, Earl does have these tracks that conceptually are pretty focused, but for the most part, what he's doing on a lot of this record is hitting listeners with an anxious mess of many emotions at once, which might in concept not sound all that impressive, but in actuality, the results of what we're hearing here is so emotionally potent. It's pretty impressive. And the rawness of these tracks, of the instrumentals of Earl's rapping, greatly contributes to this. Lyrically, Earl pretty much offers these straight, uncut rap verses, one after the next, no filler, no breaks, no hooks or anything like that. And despite Earl sounding more original than ever on this record, still at this point, his major influences like MF Doom, for example, still ring pretty clearly in his sound. On more of the instrumental side of this thing, I love beats on this record like Cold Summers, whose muddy compressed bass and glistening lead melodies sound like something out of a Mad Lib wet dream. The droning and dreary piano passages matched with the skipping and sort of off-kilter drum beats on December 24th. It's super slow motion, sounds like a depressing take on something that could have come off of Mad Villainy. Meanwhile, Earl's drawled bars matched with the twisted and manipulated and viscous slow motion samples on Lucy is absolutely demented. The track Peanut is one of the shortest on this record at just a minute, but the instrumental is so noisy and abstract and deconstructed, it feels like I'm listening to like an ambient noise piece or something off of like a Caretaker record. The song Azucar features these glistening wall-to-wall string samples like high as a mountain. They just feel so huge, so full, so lush. Those are laced with these vocals that are kind of dipping in and out of the mix, disappearing, reappearing like a broken transmission. Earl's steady and stern bars on top bring a very nice, strong sense of composure to the chaos. I love the finishing line that he leads off with on this track, "See the ghost of where I was, as lonesome as I was," which is one of many cutting one-liners on this thing. Earl is typically known for his quotables, and he does have many on this new record, but usually what ends up standing out the most are the lines that are the most poignantly sad. One bar that stuck with me was "Peace to every crease in your brain," which, given the themes of mental health throughout this record, is maybe not as cute as it might seem on the surface, as later into the same track he seems to rap about tumbling out of stardom and his celebrity status and having not heard applause, having not performed, kind of being isolated outside of the entertainment world in a way. Also a set of simple but very meta bars on this thing stood out to me, where he says, "I spent most of my life depressed. Only thing on my mind was death. Didn't know if my time was next. Yeah, trying to refine this shit." It's like he's aware of what he's saying is so blunt that it's not really poetry. It doesn't really feel like a bar as much as it does like a really sad tweet. But I feel like that boils down to yet another appeal of this album, just how unfiltered and how casual all of this comes off. It's like Earl has nothing to hide, and he's essentially laying it all out on this record. I mean, the refrain that he delivers at the very end of the song, The Mint, certainly seems to get to the heart of that. A lot of blood to let, peace to make, fuck a check, because this album is essentially an outlet, a confessional moment, a catharsis. Now, there are a handful of cuts on this record that I found to be a little underwhelming, didn't stand out quite as much, and maybe could have used some bolder vocals or production to make them really shine amongst all of these other short, very packed in, shoulder-to-shoulder cuts. The brevity of Lucy, in a way, I think worked against it. The opening track, Shattered Dreams, while there are elements of this cut that I like instrumentally and lyrically, the vocals were a little, I guess, under-delivered and also mixed pretty low to the point where they didn't engage as clearly as they did on many other cuts where the mixing and performance were a bit more amped up and just generally better. And even though there were some tracks on this thing that came off a little topically vague, or pockets of this record that I think could have used a bit more length or structure or some songwriting bells and whistles, something, for the most part, I did really love the incredibly brief and to the point songwriting style that Earl brings to the table on this thing, especially how all the songs here kind of wash in and out of each other really quickly and reinforce each other pretty well. All that being said, though, I did love this record. Some Rap Songs is pretty great. Easily Earl's best record yet, in my opinion. Most emotionally intense, most artistically defined. Though, admittedly, I do come away from this thing worrying about Earl's mental health a bit, and hopefully he has brighter days ahead in regards to that. I'm feeling a decent to strong 8 on this thing. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Earl, Some Rap Songs, forever.
This video is brought to you by Skillshare.
Imprecise words.
Earl Sweatshirt is just 24 years old, but it feels like he's been around forever, and relative to the current hip-hop scene, he kind of has been. He put out his first mixtape when he was 16, but unlike similarly young rappers such as Lil Pump and Tay-K, who seem to be nothing more than the subject of repeated in-jokes, Earl was immediately recognized as a promising talent, and he's only improved since then. 8 years and 4 albums later, Earl Sweatshirt is considered a legendary figure in rap, revered for his excellent songwriting and innovative musical style. In this video, I'm going to discuss Earl's influences, his music, and his surprisingly impactful presence in hip-hop. Let's get into it. Earl Sweatshirt comes from a family of influential thinkers. His mother is a professor of law at UCLA, one of the top universities in the world. His father was a South African poet and political activist known throughout the world for his influential work in bridging the gap between African poetry and black poetry in the United States. Earl's parents separated when he was 8 years old, something that would strongly influence the tone of his music to come. Earl started rapping when he was in middle school under the name Sly Tendencies. He released the first and only Sly Tendencies mixtape, Kitchen Cutlery, in 2009. Shortly after dropping